What's good, brother, man?
What's good, y'all? I'm just gonna sit here and do a real quick video for you here. We're gonna do some just quick finesse worm tactics that you can use all year round, but they do really good in the summertime. But I'm telling you, they will catch you fish all year round. So what we're gonna start with is, Trey, if you hold this rod for just a second for me. Thank you. I'll grab these Xzone 4-inch Pro Series Slimer right here. It's in that green pumpkin blue flake. It's a great color. We got a Jeep coming down the road here. All right, so what we got rigged up here? This is a drop shot. I don't personally like throwing the drop shot. I think it's a lot of work just to rig it up. But you know, it undeniably catches fish. It's a really good tactic. Now, you usually want to use a smaller drop shot worm for doing this, especially if you're in like ponds. But you can do any worm you like. If you like using a specific worm, if you like using an old monster, you can use the 6-inch Divine Shaky worm. That is actually a great worm. The 6-inch Robo worm is probably the best worm for drop shotting, I'm telling you. Now, there's a couple different ways you can put this on here. One that most people do is they just nose hook it. And you'll see it. Just a little bit of plastic. Just go through just like that. As you cast that out there, you got your pencil weight here. Goes up to your hook. Now, I'm using I think they call them standout drop shot hooks. Tie your knot on there, usually a Palomar knot. For sake of this video, I did a uni knot. Just use whatever knot works for you. They say Palomar is best for getting stand up. But if you use this type of hook, you have this little guy here that keeps your hook standing up straight anyway. So it doesn't really matter. And if you use a floating worm, that really helps that out too. But just nose hook it like that, and that'll sit there and do its thing. Or if you want it a little more weedless, not technically weedless, but a little more, just kind of go up in there and just run that hook through just until it's about to come out the front. And then you got it like that. Now you don't have an exposed hook, but you know, if you hit something, it's probably going to go through anyway. But I like that, doing that.
For around here, it works better.
Yeah, you know, it helps your hookup ratios, because you know, they're grabbing up here, you just reel into them, kind of lift your rod up just a little bit. You don't have to jack the jaw on this. I'm telling you, it's simple.
You're using a super thin wire hook.
It's good, it's good. All right, Trey, you want to go over the next technique? I think we're going to do wacky rigging. What you got there, boy?
Right here.
Oh, it's magic, you know. Because KVD said so.
Yes, sir. Wacky Rig Senko.
Yep.
Flutter it.
And that's the Strike King Ocho. I believe there's one rigged up in the bag.
Oh, is it?
Yep, from the last video. Don't you remember, boy?
Oh, right there.
Yep.
Oh boy,
Six.
it's like we planned that. But no, all jokes aside, this is really good for this time of year. It's really good all year round, but especially this time of year, whenever you just need something with a little bit more flair, a little bit more action to it.
It's a stick bait.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just catch fish.
Like we said in our last video, they just work.
They just work. And you know, you just turn towards the lake. Just cast it on out there, let it sink to the bottom, give it a pop, pop, let it sink, pop, 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 let it sink. Or if you know, if it's a different time of year, you can be a little more active. But right now, hot summer day, just cooking.
Yeah.
Just sit out there and do that.
It's not great conditions either. Earlier it was straight bluebird skies. It's not great. So maybe you want to pull out something a little bit different than what you usually might do.
Indeed.
What you got next?
Oh, and we should probably go over what's on that before we. So, do a wacky rig. A lot of people just run that hook, just skin hook it through. What's wrong with you, boy? You just skin hook it through the top of the worm. But as you can see, we got on here a little O-ring with a wacky hook. And that's a weedless wacky hook. That's the Berkley Fusion 19 weedless wacky hook. Called something like that, I don't remember. But yeah, Strike King Ocho. All right, I guess I'll do the next one. All right, so what we got next is Shaky Head. All right, so Shaky Head, like I said, got your little, this is a little screw lock type. You got multiple types. You got some that don't have the screw lock, and you just kind of take it and you go through the top, go down here, and then hook it back through. I'll show you how to do this. So first you want to bite the head off that worm there. That's your Xzone Finesse worm. And then you're just gonna hold it on there. Whoop. These things are slick, so I'm sorry if it takes me a second. Just screw it on there.
Greased like a pig.
You don't want to over screw it, so just screw it till it gets to about that head, because then you'll start basically stripping your worm. Basically. Then you kind of like your Texas rig, just go through it, go back through, skin hook it. Now you'll notice there's a little bend to your worm. That's good. That's what you want. What this does, especially with the other style, it'll be more bent in like that. And depending on how I bend this screw lock, you can bend that to adjust where it is. But that little bend, when you cast this out there, what it's going to do, it's not going to fall straight. It's not going to fall like this. What it's going to do, it's going to come in and it's going to spiral. And then bass are like, huh, that looks interesting. And then they're going to come over there and they're going to munch on it.
Now,
and
personally,
then, now what you do, okay, I'll show you with the Dropshot rig we got rigged up here. So all you're going to do is you're going to cast it out there, right? Wherever you want to throw it. You know, it's good around ledges, drop-offs. It can be good shallow stuff around cover. But what you're going to want to do is let about 5 to 7 foot of line sit on top of the water. Keep it slack line. You don't want to tighten it up. And all you're going to do, shake it like that. And you might be sitting there, you know, put this hand in your pocket if you got to. Don't reel it. Just sit there and shake it. And you're going to think, well, that's not doing anything to that worm. Yeah, it is. It's sitting there going, doo doo. Fish at the top of the water there. I'm sorry. I got fish vision. But anyway, that's a Shaky Head. If this looks awkward, I do not do left-hand retrieve. Okay, that's Shaky Head. But yeah, anyway, any worm you want, Zoom, trick worm, finesse worm, Senko, ribbon tail worm, any kind of worm, any length. If you go to bigger worms, go to like a Magnum Shaky Head, you know, your 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce, your bigger Shaky Heads. Most of the time you're using smaller weights.
Now, Logan, grab that Shaky Head real quick.
Yeah. All right. Now this is actually a 1/4 ounce, but a lot of times you're going to use like 3/16 or smaller. You know, Shaky Heads aren't very big, but I tell you what, they get the job done. And again, thin wire hook. It doesn't take a lot. You don't have to go, but you do want to stick them. So do a little more than you would for a drop shot. But, or on the Magnum Shaky Heads, you know, they got bigger hooks on them. So do what you gotta do.
Now, personally with me, what I like to do with the Shaky Head is I don't expose the hook point. I leave it embedded in the worm.
Yeah, you can do that too. And just like, kind of like what I do with the Shaky Head, just get it to just where it's about to come out, but doesn't come out.
And that's how I like to do it.
And then you got your bend again, like I said, so it's going to spiral.
Spinal.
Through the water. It's not going to go straight down. That's how that is. Now, Texas rig. Get on them, boy.
Alrighty. Everybody knows what the Texas rig is. If you don't, then you need to learn real quick. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Texas rig.
You ain't good at fishing. I lied. I'm joking.
All the live bait anglers are just screaming right now. No. Simple Texas rig. You just take an EWG or a worm hook, Send it through the top of your worm or whatever soft plastic you're using. Pull it out about 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch away from the top. Send it back through, texpose it. There you go. You got a good weedless presentation right there. Good for working any water in America.
Yeah, it really is. Ponds, lakes, rivers, streams.
It's just perfect, and it's so versatile because it's not technique specific in the sense to where you have to have a special soft plastic for it. You can use any soft plastic you want. If you really wanted to, you could Texas rig a leech. I wouldn't recommend it, but you
Indeed.
could. You could.
Yeah. Use any bait you want. But anyway, guys, that was 4 finesse worm techniques for you to use year round, but that do especially good in the summer.
Of course.
But remember, get out, get on the water. If you don't actually fish, you ain't gonna catch anything.
Exactly.
And you know, Trey done caught a 5-pounder today. Why? Because we got out and we went fishing.
Even though it's 95 degrees with like a 70% humidity.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
Yeah, Kentucky's hot.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, make sure you like,
Comment.
subscribe, and absolutely demolish that notification bell. Because if you don't, then you're not going to get no notifications.
You know what happens if you won't demolish it? All right. This is what happens. This is what happens.